I have been working at Beyond Autism for almost 3 years, since April 2018. I have a degree in creative writing and media studies. I graduated from university in 2013 and I achieved an overall 2-1 grade. At university, I was assigned a personal tutor slash mentor who has Asperger's syndrome. He helped me in a lot of ways, such as helping me with my essays and assignments. He asked my tutors for extensions for me if he felt like I needed them. He helped develop my social skills, and he was just someone I could talk to if I was feeling depressed, lonely, sad, if I missed my family back home in London. So he was a great support network for me overall. He is the smartest man I've ever met, and he is the perfect example as to why people with autism should be in employment. I have nonverbal learning disability, which is a neurological disability that's possibly on the autistic spectrum. Nonverbal learning disability, or NVLD as it's sometimes abbreviated as, was discovered in the 1960s, whereas Asperger's syndrome was discovered in the 1940s. So NVLD is 20 years younger than Asperger's syndrome. And because it's the younger of the two conditions, it's sometimes misdiagnosed as Asperger's syndrome. Another reason why NVLD can sometimes be misdiagnosed as Asperger's is because NVLD was taken out of the DSM a few years ago, but luckily NVLD advocates and charities are trying to get it put back into the DSM for this reason, so that it isn't misdiagnosed as Asperger's as often, so that more research can be conducted into NVLD, and so that we are given the help and support that we need. Life after university was very difficult for me in terms of job searching and applying for jobs in a very competitive market, media and the arts. Like most graduates, I tried to get a job in the field that I graduated in, particularly in script writing. Not only did I have to prove to these employers I was the best person for the job or the internship, I also had to declare my nonverbal learning disability if the application included an equal opportunities form. Some people with disabilities don't put their disability on the equal opportunities form or the application form for lots of reasons. I personally do, so that I'm given the reasonable adjustments that I need in the interview, such as needing the interview questions to be given to me visually rather than verbally, and sometimes the interview questions are given to me in advance. How do I sell myself to these employers? How do I explain that my nonverbal learning disability is a strength and not a weakness? Point number one, employees with autism are more likely to be highly dedicated to their job than neurotypical people. In an Environics research study, 84% of employers rated employees with an intellectual disability as being the following: highly productive, dependable, engaged in their work, and motivated with great attendance records, and strong attention to the quality of their work. 86% of employees with a disability rated average or better on attendance than their colleagues without a disability. Employees with intellectual disabilities are more likely to stay in their job for a long period of time. Staff turnover for those with intellectual disabilities is only 7%. Staff turnover for those without intellectual disabilities is 49%. So there is a big difference there. Employers want employees who value their job, and they want their employees to stay in their company for a long time. It can be stressful investing time and money into training and rehiring new employees. Number two, we all have our own unique strengths. Employers need to focus on what we can do rather than what we can't do. Some of the strengths people with autism may have include strong attention to detail, having good working memories, high levels of concentration and focus, and technical abilities like computers and programming. Companies like Microsoft, who specialize in computers and programming, are specifically hiring a lot of people with autism who have these skills, so they're focusing on the strengths that they have rather than their weaknesses. Some good examples of hiring employees who have autism with these particular strengths are being able to proofread colleagues' work and tell them their mistakes and errors, being able to concentrate on a task for a long period of time without getting bored or frustrated, remembering information other employees may not remember, and helping colleagues who have computer issues. I personally enjoy proofreading other people's work, and I can concentrate on a task for a long period of time. I feel comfortable with the repetitiveness of certain tasks. However, I'm not personally able to assist my colleagues with their computer issues. Sorry guys, I just can't. Point number 3. There are different types of autism, and employers should not assume they are the same and stereotype us. Asperger's syndrome is the most commonly diagnosed and well-known autism spectrum disorder. As you guys know, I have nonverbal learning disability. As someone who has a nonverbal learning disability, I don't want an employer to assume I have Asperger's because there are differences between both conditions. It is important to ask an employee what their personal diagnosis is, understand how it affects them, and how you can support them, such as offering a quieter room to work in if one is available, and informing them in advance of any changes such as meetings being cancelled and/or rescheduled. Some employers may unknowingly make stereotypical assumptions about autism, so it's important to take the time to understand that person's needs before they start the job. Luckily, some of the jobs I have had, such as working in schools and in play schemes, which are in the autism and SEN fields, my employers have already had a good understanding of autism and learning disabilities, and they have known how to support my needs. Point number 4. What may seem like a small achievement for a neurotypical employee may be a big achievement for someone with autism. Sending out a well-written email or helping a customer on a phone call may be everyday tasks for some neurotypical employees, but for some employees with autism, each step we take in life can be a milestone for us. If we seem happy when we have achieved a small task, this is the reason why, and please do not mistake it for arrogance. My telephone skills have improved greatly since working for Beyond Autism. I used to freeze whenever I answered the phone and had great anxiety due to not knowing what is expected of me when I answered the phone. My confidence has grown over the years when dealing with telephone calls due to the support I've received at Beyond Autism and the telephone skills some of my colleagues have taught me. Whenever I handle a phone call now to the best of my ability, I still feel proud of myself even after 2.5 years of working here. I remember how much progress I've made over the years and how much I've developed as a person, and I continue to develop every day. It is important to recognise and support these achievements to boost confidence and encourage further progression. And point number 5, explain what you need exactly from your employees with autism. Avoid rushing through your instructions, being vague and ambiguous, and missing out some of the steps. Some people with autism need information to be as detailed as possible, and an employee who has autism needing detailed instructions and information is not a weakness. It shows the employer we care about what is being asked of us, and we want to perform that task to the best of our ability. A piece of work which may have taken longer for an employee with autism to complete may be better written than a rushed piece of work written by a neurotypical employee. And my closing statement is, I believe everyone should live to the motto, treat others the way you would like to be treated. You would want to be employed and given the support you need at work if you had autism or an intellectual ability, am I correct? What if it was your child or your sibling? Empathy is what makes us human. We need to embrace it and use it every day. We need to change the world one step at a time together. One day in the near future, we can all live in an inclusive, disability-friendly world, and we won't have to fight for access to employment anymore. Thank you so much for listening to my seminar. Bye bye.